What's going on, guys? It's Kyle here with Gnarly Knives. So today, this video here has actually been kind of going around. A lot of people have been tagging and stuff. I don't know, I wasn't sure if I should do it. I wasn't tagged by another YouTuber, but I've had a couple of subs comment on various of my recent videos asking if I would do this. So just, for fun, this is just going to be a quick video. I'm not going to be reviewing these knives. They're just 5 knives plus one. That makes me happy. Like I said, they're not necessarily my favorite knives. They're just knives that I just really like for various reasons. And just having fun with it, I guess. So these are in no particular order. So one knife that always makes me really happy, this one to start with, it makes me happy because it's actually from my top 3 favorite knife companies in general, but definitely my favorite company to get fixed blades from, and that's the Pathfinder Knife Shop, where, I feel like most people in this community know Dave Canterbury, and it's his knife. It's the Scorpion XL. This one I actually got as a Christmas gift, I believe 2 years ago. It was 2 Christmases ago, so it was a little over a year and a half ago, and I absolutely love this knife. It has the curly maple handles. It's, a Scandi grind, but it's 3/16 thick. It's a really heavy duty knife. This is a knife that, I always think, because I always, love the thought of like, oh, I'm going to go live in the woods. It's something ever since I was a kid I've always wanted to do. But then, met my girl. Now I got 2 kids. So it's probably not happening now like that. But this is something I just always like to bring when I do go to the woods. But something that I always picture if I was, if I got stuck in the woods and this was the one knife I had, I'd feel a lot more comfortable than probably 90% of the other knives that I have, in the role that it would have to play, and definitely being hard on it. But it's a beautiful knife. I mean, the sheath is absolutely gorgeous. I know the sheath, it does come a lot shinier. I have fix and wax on this that I use to kind of help waterproof it a bit. So it is definitely more matte, and it's also, just from walking around the woods, getting hit and scraped and all that. But it's a very beautiful knife. I really love this knife a lot. And they do still sell them. And, like I said, this is the Scorpion XL. It has the 6-inch blade. They have the regular Scorpion, which is, I think, 1/8 of an inch. It's a little thinner, but it's a little shorter. It's about 5 inches. And I absolutely love it. If anybody gets this, I don't think you would be dissatisfied or let down in any way. It's a great knife. Another one, this is the first of 2 Spydercos. I mean, everybody knows I love Spyderco. I'm a Spyderco fanboy. I'm not ashamed to say it. I just think they make really good knives. For me, I think my favorite thing is, what I've loved about them has evolved, but I think one of my favorite things with them is just the variety that they have. I don't think they're, like, I know some people think they're kind of ugly knives. It took me a little bit to get used to them, but I really like the knives a lot, and I love the knives a lot, and I just love the variety of not just the different knives that they make, but in different steels. So the first knife I got in this steel is the LC200N, but it's the Spyderco Atlant, the Atlantic Salt 2. I love this knife. I've done a review on this knife. I did a first impressions and a review on this knife, and I featured it in a couple of videos. This is my general gardening knife, and I actually carried this as just my general EDC for a couple of months when I first got it. Generally now that I'm starting to do more videos and stuff again, I'm, switching knives in and out a lot. I mean, there's still a few that, I just love to carry. One of them is also here, but I just love everything about this knife. The steel, it won't rust. The edge retention's pretty decent. Just the way it's built, it's very comfortable in the hand. I just love using this knife, and it's cool because, like I said, I believe in either the first impressions or the review that this is a knife that if I ever left out, I wouldn't have to worry about, other than just worrying about that I won't find it. But I've left this outside before. I've left it out and it's rained. Even when I'm doing stuff with it, like slicing open bags of dirt or fertilizer or whatever, when I'm using my other knives, I try to find a nice spot that I can just like rest it, because, I don't want to get all dirt and crap in it. but also, you know, don't want it to rust. But this here, I don't care. I'll just drop it right in the dirt. It just, I don't worry about it, you know? I mean, even too, yeah, okay, it can dull the edge a bit, but it's so easy to sharpen. It's so quick to sharpen, you know, and it holds its edge pretty well. It's a really good knife, and it makes me happy when I use it. And then too, with the color, it's just nice. It's, you know, I mean, yeah, it does kind of blend in with some plants. Like if you drop it in the grass, it's a little annoying. It can be. But because it's more bright than, you know, most grass, it stands out pretty well. So that's something I really love with that knife. It is a great knife. This was actually one of my first fixed blades I got. And this is probably the knife that really got me into fixed blades, and it's, you know, it's nostalgic. And then my old man gave it to me. I've had the knife probably close to 20 years. I was probably like 12 or 13. I think I was 12 when he got me this. But it's the short K-bar, the USMC. So this is just the 5-inch blade version. I do now have the 7-inch bladed version. But it's a K-bar like any other. It's just a little bit smaller. I mean, they do make a few different variants of it. You can get it with like the Kraton handle and stuff like that. But I absolutely love this knife. This knife I actually haven't really used much other than just to cut and open things. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, I didn't really have much to use it for, and now I have so many other knives. I just really like keeping it as is. The only thing I've done with it is I've sharpened it a couple times, and that's really about it. But it's a fantastic knife. You know, it's 1095 steel. It's a tough knife. You know, I just love it. It's so, you know, for those reasons, it just makes me happy. It's a knife it's more for me, I just like to pull it out and look at it and just hold it. You know, maybe shave a couple arm hairs off, you know, but it's just one that always makes me really happy. You know, especially because, like I said, my old man got it for me. I've had it for so long, and it's just really cool because it was the same knife pretty much that all the old war movies I loved watching and still love watching, but as a kid I loved watching. This was like the knives the guys all carried. So it was awesome. It is awesome. So another knife would be, and this was one that I said like that with, you know, ones that I carry a lot. You know, this is a knife that you guys are probably not going to be surprised it made it on this list because it is one of my favorite knives just in general. But it's the Paramilitary 2. This is the standard one, but I love it so much that I have, you know, 2 others. And I would like to get more. Actually, really cool. I was reading something the other day. They're going to be changing up. They're not going to be coming standard in S30V anymore. They're going to be starting to come in S45VN, which is sweet because they did a sprint run in it, I don't know, within the last 6 months. And I mean, I just knew it wasn't going to work out. I didn't have the cash at the time anyway, but they go so fast when they do them. You have to really be on the ball. And it's always like a Tuesday at like 10 a.m. And it's like, you know, I'm at work. I even if I had all the money in the world. But when those come out, I'm going to be snatching one up right away, or as right away as I can, because it's a steel I'm really excited about. It's an excuse to get another Paramilitary 2. They're also doing the Para 3 in it. I'll see. I've been wanting to get a Paramilitary 3, or a Para 3 rather, but it's an excuse to get another PM2. I mean, I'm probably going to get the PM2, but we'll see. But it's a knife I love. You know, this is kind of like the gold standard. This was the first, like, really nice pocket knife that I ever got. And for the longest time, it was the most I ever spent on a pocket knife. And it's funny because they go for a lot more now. Because when I bought this, it was 120. Now they're going for like 150-ish. But it's just a sweet knife. And I love it. I carry it a lot. I carry the other ones. But what's funny, even with all of them, you know, because I have the Maximate one, which was like kind of like a grail knife for me. And then, you know, I have the S110V version one, which that I was just super excited about when I got, just because I really wanted to try out that steel. And I like that steel. But the S30V, this is the one I carry the most. Like, they all get carried, but 8 out of 10 times when I'm carrying a PM2, it's this one. And then the other 2 out of 10 is just each of those. The other 2 I carry about the same amount as the other. But more often than not, I'm carrying a PM2, it's this one. I love it. And it's funny too, because this one, honestly, of the 3, has the best fit and finish. It's the only one with dead nut centering of the blade. This is just my favorite of the Paramilitary 2s. And even if I got 100 more different ones, this one will probably always be my favorite. But it's just a sweet knife, and it always makes me happy carrying it. And it's fun to fidget with. It's just a great knife for everyone. I mean, I've given these away as gifts. It's a fantastic knife, and it just makes me so happy. I just love playing with it and using it. So this next one, and you kind of hear it rattling, you might know what it is. This was the first, like, nicer fixed blade that I got. This here, because they don't really make this anymore, because this is the carbon steel version. You can still get the stainless version, I believe. I actually would like to get a stainless version, but I wish they still made the carbon version. Or if you know that they are, please let me know. But it's the Martini Witch's Tooth. This knife I love. This is one of my favorite knives that I own. Like, this is in my top 10 with the PM2. I love this knife. It is so beautiful. It still has the mirror polish on it. The blade, I mean, I just keep the fix and wax on it because it will rust. I have yet to sharpen this knife. I have never sharpened it. And it's funny because it's just a basic carbon steel. It's definitely like below a 1095. But whatever they do with it, how they heat treat it, I have only had to strop this knife. I have done dozens of carvings with this using hardwood, and it strops right back. It's just beautiful. It fits my hand perfect. It has a really cool history with the witch's tooth and keeping spirits away. You can kind of hear it. I love that it has the snowflake on the back with the reindeer antler. Has the reindeer antler on the part of the handle in the middle with the curly birch. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And then the sheath on it, I love that kind of pepper or banana shape, and it just fits in beautifully. And when it slides in, you can hear the air escaping. Like, this is so in there. It's not going anywhere. Go. Shut the door, please. Shut the door, please. I'm sorry about that. Just a little one. But this is a sweet knife. It's a lot of fun to use, and it has great history with it. And the company I love. I've done, probably 4 or 5 videos on various Martinis, and just a video about Martini in general. They're just such good knives. I love them. I don't know why they're not more popular. I know they're pretty popular, like in Europe and obviously Finland, but I don't see as many videos as I do about a lot of other knives of this kind. But it's just a sweet knife, and it makes me so happy when I use it. Now, I don't use it as much when I do. Well, I don't really quite carve as much as I used to, as much as I would like to. But this one here, I like to kind of reserve it. I like to really just use it for when I'm doing something special. Usually I use this more for if I'm carving like a gift for someone. Because for me, it just adds more to the whole spirit of the whole thing. But it's a lot of fun to use. And I mean, just to show how much I love it, I actually have it as a tattoo. I mean, it's a sweet knife. I love everything about it. And it always makes me so happy when I use it. Excuse me. And then finally, another knife that makes me really happy. This knife has not left my pocket other than when I'm using it. But since I've gotten it, it has lived in my pocket. And that's the Duke. I love this knife. It's funny. It's one of my favorite knives, but it's also one of my cheapest knives. But I love everything about it. It's super simple. It's a folded over piece of metal with a blade pinned into it. It's as simple as you get. It's a slip joint, but it's tight. Like, it's very well made for how simple it is. I mean, even you can kind of see, but like the centering, it is almost perfectly center for just how simple the knife is and how it's made. But I love this knife. This knife I do carry with me everywhere. I love using it. It doesn't stay sharp at all for very long. So, you know, I do need to sharpen it a good amount, even for the limited use on it. But I don't care. It takes 30 seconds to put an edge back on it. Even if there's some damage, I don't think I've, other than when I first sharpened it, because it didn't really have much of a bevel, but ever since I first sharpened it and put a really good, nice bevel on it, I don't think I've ever spent more than 3 minutes sharpening this from start to finish, because I'll work it through a few stones, and that includes stropping. It is just such an easy steel to sharpen, but the trade-off with that is that it dulls pretty quickly. But it doesn't matter. It's just a really cool knife, and it has a cool design on it. But, so that's my bonus. This is the +1. Actually, it's going to go right back in my pocket. So I hope you guys kind of like this. I mean, this was just really more for fun. If you guys want, I mean, let me know. I can do more, but I'd love to hear what your favorite knives are, or what are 5, excuse me. What are some knives that make you happy? Because I know I have a lot more. I mean, all honesty, I mean, all my knives make me happy. I don't think I've ever really bought a knife. There might be 1 or 2 that, you know, I had higher hopes for, and it was like, meh. But, you know, out of all the knives I have, I mean, they all do make me happy in one form or another. Of course, some more than others. So, you know, maybe I can do another one at some point. Maybe I'll do one of, like, just fixed blades, and then one of, like, just pocket knives. Because there are other knives that, you know, I wanted to put on here, but I didn't want to, you know, other than the +1, I didn't want to do a whole bunch. You know, I could make this like a 3-hour video and just go through all my knives, and which actually someone has suggested I do, but that's one I'm going to have to like go around and find all my knives. But that's one I would consider doing at some point. I think it could just be fun. But I need to make sure I just would need the time to. I need to be able to sit for a few hours, because I mean, you guys all know how much I ramble and everything, and just go on and on. So, I mean, it could probably be more than 3 hours. You know, unless I spent a minute or less on each night. Oh no, that would go over 3 hours. Maybe I could do it in parts. Maybe I could do one, all my pocket knives, and then do another one, all my fixed blades. Maybe just break it up. But let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear what some of your favorites are. I think pretty much all of these knives I have reviews on. I don't have one on the short K-bar, but I mean, I have one on K-bars, and I mean, they're the same. It's just shorter. But I mean, if you guys want, I could do a review on this. Just with, I mean, it would be more how it's held up over time. And, you know, like I said, other than cutting things open, you know, I think I might have done 1 or 2 carvings with it. But you know, it's not something that I wouldn't bring to the woods and go beating on. And not even because it's, you know, I mean, you can still get these for like around like, oh, I think they've gone up a little bit, but you can still get these for around $60. So it's not like the most expensive knife, but I would rather not break it and, you know, need to buy another one. And then I will do one on this too at some point with the XL Scorpion, because it's a beautiful knife. I cannot speak highly enough of the Pathfinder knives, because it's funny, I think this is the only one of theirs I have that's a like full, like they've made and completed, and then with the sheath, because they do the knife and the sheath separate. But I kind of get it though, because I know Dave Canterbury's philosophy with it is just, you know, especially if you already have a sheath, you know, you can save money and just buy the knife. You don't have to buy the sheath as well. But this is the only one of theirs I've bought as a complete package. But over the years, I probably have total, probably 5 of their blanks. And I've made a couple into knives. One of them I need to make a sheath for, and then I still have 2 blanks that I need to make handles for. But there are more of their knives I do want to get. But I love everything about them, because even the one that I use the most is the first blank of theirs I got. and I don't know if they actually offer it anymore. When I got it, I think it was it was just knife blank number 3, and I think it's changed because I got that probably 4 or 5 years ago. But that knife I've batoned with, I've carved things obviously with it. I mean, they're all, the ones I've gotten are all Scandi grind. I do believe they have some you can buy. They do have some knives that are convex ground, but the ones that I've gotten, the blanks in this one, are all Scandi ground. But that other knife I've done a lot of beating on and being pretty tough with, and it has held up, and it's made of the same stuff as this. They're all 1095. The ones that I have, I think they have 1 or 2 knives you can get. I think back in the day were made for them, but I think they had some that were made out of '01. But 1095 is a great steel. 1095 just in general is just one of my favorite steels. I'd put 1095 in my top 5. But that is it. I hope you guys liked it. I'd love to hear what your guys' favorite knives or your guys' knives are that make you happy. I hope you please like the video, subscribe, comment. Check us out on Instagram at Gnarly Knives. And have a good night, guys. Remember to keep carving and stay sharp. Peace.